and welcome to another episode of Passover with Monica, part 3. I'm going to be talking about the Seder plate, answering questions like, what is it? What goes on it? What's the symbolism / meanings behind it? Without further ado, I welcome you to another episode of Passover with Monica. The Seder plate. What is it? It's basically a special plate that holds symbolic items on it and just smack dab in the middle of the Seder table. The Seder plate is referenced throughout the whole Seder, and each little food item represents a specific part of the story of Passover. There's karpas, maror, hazeret, charoset, zeroah, beitza, along with a side of matzah. So, matzah, matzot. Matzah! It's a flatbread with minimal exposure to liquid. There's not a lot of liquid in this boy. It's a dry cracker. It's baked just enough to cook, but not allowed to rise. There's no leavened bread here for Passover. Why do we eat matzah? We eat matzah to remember the rush and limited time the Hebrews had to escape. Zeroah shekfa. It's a piece of roasted meat, or as my dad would love to say, roasted beast. This symbolizes the sacrifice of the 10th plague of the lamb. The Hebrews had to draw its blood and paint it on the doorposts so that they would be passed over during the 10th plague. You can also substitute this piece, this roasted beast, if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, with roasted beet. Both because the blood of the beet resembles the blood of the lamb, and the Talmud mentions that it's one of the vegetables that is sometimes dipped in salt water during the Seder. A little bit of substitution for you. Beitza. Egg. Egg. The hard-boiled egg, or roasted egg, represents the pre-holiday sacrifice done in the Holy Temple times. And it also symbolizes like the cycle of life and its hope. Next we got the maror and chazeret. What is this, you may ask? You won't like it. It's bitter vegetables to represent the bitterness of slavery. They can be horseradish or romaine lettuce. My family uses horseradish, and I should warn you, if you have too much of the horseradish, you will snort it out your nose. Charoset! Paste. It's not really a paste, but it's supposed to look like paste. So, this is a delicious mixture of apples, wine, nuts, and sometimes pears. Really depends on if you're Ashkenazi or Sephardic Jews. Ashkenazis, got them apples. Sephardic, it's like figs, dates, and raisins. Ashkenazi. It's meant to symbolize the bricks, the mortar that the Jews had to make in Egypt. And then we've got karpas. During Passover, we begin the Seder with a blessing over the vegetables and dipping the veggies in a little bit of salt water to symbolize tears and sweat. I typically use parsley, but you can use cucumber, lettuce, radish, or potato instead. Karpas represents the back-breaking work that the slaves had to do in Egypt. According to the Haggadah that I use during Passover Seder, the order of the consumption of the Seder plate is karpas, paschal lamb, matzah, maror, bitter herbs, charoset. Then you've got that hard-boiled egg, baby. So there's actually like a little bonus thing that you could add to the Seder plate. This one's not like typically traditional, but it is a new thing that Susanna Heschel, a Jewish scholar and feminist, suggested adding, and it's an orange. It's meant to represent Judaism's inclusiveness, especially towards women and the LGBTQ plus community. So maybe add an orange to your next Seder plate. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a meaningful and wonderful Passover. And if you don't celebrate Passover, I hope you have a wonderful week. Oh, I have Seder plate earrings. One of my friends gave this to me like a few years ago, and this is literally the first time that I've remembered to wear them during Passover. So like I'm really proud of myself.